Good morning, madam. My name is Maziatul Adrina and my partner is SINEGA DURAIRAJU. So today I will present article review. So the first article that we choose is do not pharmaceutical policy in response to COVID-19 affects stock performance evident from Malaysian stock market, return and volatility. By Rekul Roland, Ricky Chijuancha, and Venus Kim Sinilu. This article published on 31 January 2023 and distributed by +1. So aims for this article is to contribute the literature on the interplay between government and government policy and financial market during a pandemic. So we move on to the problem. The problem is stated clearly and has significant from practical standpoint because it is reveals how effective NPIs function for reduce the economic costs of the pandemic. This article is important because it provides information on how well NPIs work to reduce the financial impact of the pandemic. And then the purpose is to examine change in Malaysia stock market returns and volatility resulting from non-pharmaceutical measure implemented in response to COVID-19 outbreak. And we move on to the review of literature. This article provides an in-depth understanding the topic matter by focusing on relevant resource, and then the site refers are current and published between 2020 and 2022. And then the authors maintain objective and acknowledge supporting and opposite study with no evidence of bias. And then we move on to the design and procedure. This article uses a quantitative research method, which is collecting and evaluating its own data to provide a distinctive assessment. And then daily stock market returns, volatility, stream index, daily COVID-19 cases, fatalities, and vaccination rates serve as crucial measuring instrument. And then the daily data was collected from 28 January 2020 until 26 September 2022. And then control variable include daily COVID-19 cases, fatalities, and vaccination rates. Consider the potential impact on stock market performance. And no investigation was conducted or a bonus test was performed and incorporated the additional control variable like daily COVID-19 death rate and vaccination rates. And based on the data availability, 67 companies list on the Bursa Malaysia Stock Exchange made up as the sample. This was selected using a convenient sampling approach. And then the data analysis and presentation. Regression analysis and bootstrapping are two quantitative methods used for this for the data analysis. And then we are to discuss about how finding based on non-pharmaceutical treatments can affect governments and investors. And next is the Malaysian stock market discover a mixed impact to the government's non-pharmaceutical COVID-19 campaigns. Last one is return have an indirect uh, have an indirect negative influence, whereas volatility and stock market returns have a positive impact. The last one is conclusion and implication. So in conclusion, the study findings clearly relates it to main purpose, which was to investigate the impact of non-pharmaceutical measure on the Malaysian stock market during the COVID-19 pandemic. In terms of implementation, it's recommend that during a pandemic, decision makers takes into consideration the possible influence of non-pharmaceutical measure on the stock market. And then the last one is to make well-informed judgment about public health. Policymakers should consider the potential effect of non-pharmaceutical measure on the stock market. Next article, I'll pass it to SINEGA. SINEGA.
Hello, I'm SINEGA DURAIRAJU. I'm going to explain Article 2, which titled Relationship Between Interest Rate and Stock Price, Empirical Evidence from Developed and Developing Countries, which written by Ms. Muhammad Mahmudul Alam and Muhammad Ghazi Salahuddin. Okay, my first slide is about the problem. Okay, the problem is clearly stated in this article, whether the article was written to investigate the relationship between interest rate and stock price in various countries' stock markets. It also examines whether changes in interest rates have an impact on stock prices and whether the stock market follow the random walk model. Second is the practical importance of the problem, also discussed, where the article mentioned the information provided on this article can help investors to make informed decision about their investment portfolios as changes in interest rates. And also they can use this information to assess the effectiveness of monetary policies and their potential impact on the stock market. And then the financial analyst also can utilize this knowledge and to develop models and strategies for pretending stock market movements based on changes in interest rates. Third is the purpose of the study. The purpose of the study is conducted in article to examine the behavior of stock prices in various countries and determine if they follow a random walk or if there are other factors that influence their movements. The hypothesis of study conducted in article this hypothesis is conducted to test the weak from efficiency of stock market in 15 developed countries. These studies also aim to investigate whether stock prices follow a random walk where consecutive price changes are independent and identically distributed over time, and past values of the index cannot be used to forecast the current values. The random walk model, efficiency in weak form, unit root test, serial dependencies, panel data analysis, interest rate, share price, changes of interest rate, changes of share price, developed country, developing countries, bank deposit rate, stock exchange index, and coefficient of determination are key terms of these articles. This article does not explicitly mention whether the key terms are clearly defined. Okay. The next slide is review of the literature. Next slide. Okay. Okay, the cited sources in the article provide relevant information for the study. They include studies that examine the relationship between stock prices and interest rate, as well as the efficiency of stock market. These studies contribute to the understanding of the topic and provide empirical evidence for the analysis conducted in this study. Second is the review in the article appears to be broad, which means it includes various studies and sources from different countries and regions covering topics such as stock market behavior performance of mutual fund monetary policy, interest rates, and market efficiency. The reference also cited in the article, which are various years ranging from 1966 to 2007. Some reference date back to the 1960 and 1970s, while others are more recent, ranging from 1980 to the early of 2000. Okay. The next is there is no evidence suggests this study is biased in the articles. Okay. The sources listed are academic journals and reports that provide empirical evidence and research findings related to stock market behavior and performance. So this information appears to be objective and based on scholarly research. Okay, next slide is design and procedures. Okay, the authors of this study use the research method of empirical analysis to investigate the weak from efficiency of stock market and the relationship between share price and interest rate. So they conducted statistical tests and analyzed time series data from multiple countries to examine the behavior of stock prices and determine the efficiency of the markets. Okay, the study conducted in article is an original study, which proven it is not explicitly mentioned whether the study is conducted in the article is considered an original study. The context only provide a list of references and sources that have been cited in the article. Okay. Okay. They have used this study have used unit root test. This test was conducted to determine if there were serial dependencies in the return of stock exchange. Okay. They also used T values for data analysis root for the root unit test, which they use panel data analysis. They use OLS, ordinary least squares. They also use M-test. Okay. The structure of the procedures used in the research varied across the different studies mentioned in the context. Some studies examine the behavior of stock prices in specific market, while other focus on the efficiency of stock markets. Okay. That next is the dependent variables. Okay, the dependent variable for this research is the share price. Meanwhile, the independent variables for this research are the interest rate x1 and the changes of the rate x2. Okay, sampling for this research was conducted by selecting 15 countries based on economic condition, geographical location, data availability in the International Financial Studies IFS database. And also out of the 15 countries, 7 were developed countries, which is Australia, Canada, Germany, Italy, Japan, South Africa, Spain, and 8 were developing countries, which are Bangladesh, Chile, Colombia, Jamaica, Malaysia, Mexico, Philippines, and Venezuela. Okay, the selected countries were also geographically well distributed with representation from Asia, Europe, North America, South America, and Africa. Okay, the next slide is data analysis and presentation. Okay, the data in this research was analyzed using various statistical techniques. So the researchers conducted unit root tests to determine the presence of serial dependencies in the stock returns. They also use panel data analysis to examine the relationship between the interest rate and share prices. They used fixed effects and random effects model to assess the impacts of interest rate on share price, and they calculated coefficients of determination to measure the proportion of variation in the dependent variable explained by the independent variables. They also conducted hypothesis tests such as F-test and T-test to determine the significance of the relationship between variables. Okay, so the data in this research is quantitative, which the research use panel data and time series data for its analysis. Okay, the findings of the research did not clearly support the hypothesis and the purpose of the studies because this study aimed to investigate the weak from efficiency of stock market in 15 developed and developing countries and examine the relationship between share price and interest rate. However, the results of the study were mixed, with some countries showing evidence of the market inefficiency and others showing weak form of efficiency. So the relationship between the share price and interest rate varied across the country. So, okay, the next is the weakness and problems of the research also were discussed in the article. The paper examined the weak form of efficiency of the stock market in 15 developed and developing countries. The findings from the empirical testing of the efficiency market hypothesis have been mixed, with some studies rejecting the random walk behavior of stock prices. Additionally, there is a little theoretical basis for strong attachment to the null hypothesis that stock prices follow a random walk. Okay. The next is conclusion and implication. Okay. Conclusion: the studies aligns with the original purpose of the research. This study, the study found mixed results regarding the efficiency of stock market and the relationship between share price and interest rate. Therefore, the conclusion of the study is in line with the original purpose of investigating market efficiency and relationship between share price and interest rate. Okay, the implication gives some benefit for six persons versus investors. So the finding of the study, particularly regarding the relationship between interest rate and share price, can provide valuable insight for investor in making investment decisions. For financial analysis, it helped to make a recommendation to clients may consider the study's conclusion when formulating their strategies and forecasts. For the policy makers, it's helped to be it helped to findings on the relationship between interest rate and share price can be relevant for policymakers such as central banks in formulating monetary policies and regulatory financial market. Okay, for the researchers and academic, the study contribute to the existing body of knowledge on the relationship between interest rate and share prices. Okay, stock exchange, this regarding the efficiency of the stock market may have implications for stock changes in terms of market regulation and investor confidence. And last, general public, the study findings can indirectly impact the general public as fluctuation in share prices and interest rates can have a broader implication for the economy, such as consumer spending, borrowers' cost, and overall market stability. Okay. The last is recommendation. Right?
Question. Any question?
Okay. Any question?
Hai, saya Dashini.
Okay.
Saya ada question untuk Adrina. So my question is, what can you explain me the main objective of Article 2?
Okay. So the main objective of the article is to investigate the relationship between interest rate and stock price in various countries stock market. So the aims to determine whether change in interest rate have an impact on stock stock price and whether the stock price follow the random walk model.
Okay, thank you.